Hello, welcome back. My name is David Ruther. I'm here to help with all of your vocal questions. So today we're going to be talking about falsetto. It's a very misunderstood word in singing. Most people don't even know what it is. Most people, if you ask what it is, they will say it's when you go up into your higher voice and it's softer and it has a lot of breath. It's breathy and it's softer up in your higher register. And it's usually done by men. So the actual term falsetto was actually termed back in 1574 by a doctor named Giovanni Camillo Massei. And so what happened was he was studying the voice because he was working under a count or a duke or something like that. And he was working on, and the Duke really, or Count, whatever it was, really liked music and really wanted to figure out what was happening with his own voice. So this doctor said, okay, when you go up as a bass or baritone goes up into the high, ha, 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 when you go up there, that is falsetto, meaning that it is artificially engaged. It's not real. So it's not the real voice. But now we know what it actually is, because now we have modern science and we know what it actually is. And falsetto is actually two folds, and they're called the vestibular folds, okay? And they sit on either side of your vocal folds. And what they are is gelatinous mucosa. Ew. Gelatinous mucosa that feeds. So your real vocal folds are very small, depending on your age, depending on your gender, all of those things. It's either a dime size to a quarter size, okay? And they are made up of muscles, ligaments, and mucosa. Now, I just told you that the false vocal cords are made up of gelatinous mucosa. So they feed your real vocal folds the lubricant that they actually need to come together. Now, the problem here is that false means false. It means not your real voice, okay? Hands down, science, whatever you want to do, whatever. It's not your real voice. So what happens is people then, what I like to say, they evoke their false vocal cords, and then they don't allow the real vocal folds to come in, and that's where it can really get muddy. And a lot of people, when they're going up through the passaggio, the break, or the bridge, they'll carry this false voice, or the vestibular folds will kick in. So what they do is they just kind of shake, right? They just kind of shake, and that's what happens. But our real vocal folds come together, and they beautifully phonate. They beautifully phonate really rapidly. Now, when we are singing at about 600 to 800 times per second, think about that. 600 to 800 times per second. That's triple a hummingbird's wings. Now, do men and women have both falsettos? Yes, they do. And they can carry them up into the higher range, but here's the kicker, is that they can also take that higher range and bring it down into what their real voice should be doing, and that's, again, where it becomes really muddled. That's where it becomes, where if you're feeling when you're singing, ha, 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 like there's always, like you have no control over your voice, then you are probably using your vestibular folds. Now, behind me, I'm going to zoom in right here. Let's see if I can zoom in right here. So, right here, we have the real vocal folds. So, the yellow is our real vocal folds. We call those vocal folds or vocal cords. In between this black part right here is called the glottis, right? Then this little thing up on top that kind of looks like a mustache right up on top right here. It covers the vocal folds when you swallow. It's called the epiglottis. And the red part right here are the vestibular folds. Those are the gelatinous mucosa. So again, if you're using those outside folds and you're not really using your real vocal folds, guess what happens? Your voice starts to fatigue. Your voice starts to get hoarse. Your voice starts to go away quickly when you start to go up into that higher range. That's where sometimes vocal damage can happen, but definitely fatigue and hoarseness. Definitely those things. So, Now, I've already explained the head voice versus chest voice versus mixed voice, all of that kind of stuff, right? So, how do we not do that? Again, by using your real vocal folds, by keeping your larynx nice and relaxed, by going through the face, by going through having that sound come through. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. So here's right here. It's an A4. Ha, ha, ha. That's false vestibular folds. Here's real, using just the vocal folds, stretching them out. Do you hear the difference? I can feel the difference. And so if you get that wispy, breathy as you're going up, females, it's going to be right around A4, B, flat 4, B4, C5, all of those. That's where it's going to happen. Ha, 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 instead of ha, right? Now you're bringing in the real vocal folds. Now we know exactly what is happening, okay? So men, you're going to be right around D4, E flat, Now, I've explained this. Hopefully you're kind of getting it, that you know when you're using that voice. What's the best way to kind of come at it? What's the best way to fix this if this is a problem for you? Always come at it at either from a 5-note scale going up or a 5-note scale coming down. Meaning that you really you don't want to take a huge scale going into it. You really want to just ease into it. Or the best way that you can do it is actually with half steps. And this is what I like to do. So let's take it here. This is a D5. And if I'm here, and this is where to switch, ha, 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 right? Right? Instead of we do not want that. We want to bring in that real voice. Always bring in the real voice when we're doing that. Now, if we're taking it up, I'll do it for the males. If we're going up into it, let's actually do it not on an ah, but on a lip trill or a tongue trill. You can do either or. So I'll do the tongue trill so you can hear it. It's not, you're not getting that. You're getting a nice closure on those vocal folds, and they're saying, thank you so much for doing that, because we don't want to work extra hard by having those false vocal cords or the vestibular folds kick in. Now, here's what people will come back and say, is you can use your false vocal cords and it not be damaging or all that kind of stuff. Yeah, for like a couple of notes. But other than that, you do not want to do it ever, because you want to use those real vocal folds. You want to have control over your voice. You want to feel like you are making the sound rather than trying to guess what the sound is doing. And that's exactly what the vestibular folds do to you. They keep you guessing with breath, with all of those things. By the way, you lose a lot more breath by using the false vocal cords. A lot of people say, when they're going up into high, they go, I'm losing breath, I need more breath, I need more breath. It's because you're using the false. It takes a lot to shake those. It takes a lot to make that happen. But if you're using your real vestibular folds, the real ones, these yellow things right here, and you get good closure on them by just putting breath, nice breath going through, and really connecting it all the way through your passaggio and all the way up, guess what happens? Oh, your vocal folds will thank you. They will say thank you, and then you will have much more control. You will have much more discipline when it comes through there, up and down. Now, if you have any questions, please reach out to me on Facebook, down below, on my Instagram, on my website. If you have any questions about this, I would love to talk to you. I love talking about the voice. I love clearing up these things. The falsetto is a real thing. but it's false because we shouldn't be using it, right? So it's real, but let's not use it, okay? Let's try to use those real vocal folds all the time. My name is David Ruther, and I'm here to help.